Okay, so excuse me. It's an HLS code. The sensor's been swapped along with the board as well as the regulator. And they're thinking that it might be the exchanger being scaled. It's possible. I mean, the other question is if it's the internal bypass. So if you pull out the thermal regulator and if you stick your fingers and try to feel up, you should be able to feel a little disc that you should be able to move. It's on a spring. That's the internal bypass, where if that's broken, that's going to allow a lot of water to miss or not go through the exchanger, which could cause that code. I mean, I'd also be curious to look at all the wiring to make sure. Like, I just opened up a heater the other day where there's an entire mouse house in there that had shredded a bunch of wires. So although the sensors and stuff might be good, whether there's a wire pinched or something along the way. But if you do go the route of descaling the heater, you can try. It's just, since acid is readily available and what we use to balance water chemistry, it's what I typically use. It's just to think, as far as the exchanger goes, as being being the design that it is with a constant curve to it, you just don't want to go too aggressive where it's more likely to go too far. As far as if it's reducing the scale and buildup is great, but if you go too aggressive, you can end up putting a hole in it. And then we see that being the problem with acidic water running through the heater, ends up punching a hole in it and then flooding the combustion chamber. So I don't know what solution you're looking at, but I guess it's worth taking a look at and trying it out. I can't recommend or deny any of them. Home water heaters, like actual tank water heaters, a lot of times I use hydrogen peroxide. You also have different lime and rust removers depending on what you're dealing with. But with pool heaters, I've just used the acid and water mix just because it's what's readily available, and we have a lot of it, and it's something that's often used since I'm going to have to lower their pH anyway if they're having scale issues. It just makes sense, and I don't have to really worry about foaming or anything like that. So I would say if you end up using a different type of cleaner, then just be sure to kind of rinse it out thoroughly.